Go. So, we're looking at this raccoon whose liver is not so great. That's not what a liver is supposed to look like. I probably would not eat this thing in the wild unless I had no other option, because this could be some kind of parasitic damage, this could be some kind of cancerous process. There's absolutely no way to know. This thing was like hit in the road. Why did it get in the road? Because maybe it was so sick that it couldn't make it across the road, but its head got run over. This is not normal. So we're not eating this thing, but I want to show you what we're going to do as far as processing it. So these are kidneys. We're just going to move our way down from intestines, and we pull through the rectum so we don't have any fecal contamination in here. We're going to go ahead and remove the kidneys. That's the adrenal gland. I didn't know this was going to be an anatomy lesson, but I guess it's going to be. So then we're going to like pull along the spine. And this is the diaphragm. It goes all the way around the chest. So you can see down the chest at this point. We're going to pull that back on the other side. I certainly would not eat the liver of this creature. So we're going to go through again. Pull through. Now we're looking in the chest cavity. So we're going to pull the diaphragm back. Now is the fun part. We got to let all this stuff go. These are the lungs. Let's look at those real quick. Yeah, this thing has like lesions in its lungs too. That's not normal. This thing had some kind of disease process going, whether that was either some kind of bacterial infection, fungal infection, I have no clue. Yeah, if we were doing some cultures and stuff, we could probably figure that out, but I'm just looking at this as a piece of meat that I'm supposed to eat. So, and we're not going to do that because this is not normal. This is just where the animal laid on its side. That's congestion of the blood to one side from where it laid that way after it got hit. But I'm really wondering that if this thing wasn't sick and that's why it got hit. So I'm going to flip this on back over here. Try to anyway. So this is all called the pluck. This is the xiphoid. It's that little piece of cartilage that connects all the abdominal muscles together with the chest. So we're going to cut right through that. The cool thing is with little animals like this, most of this in their rib cage is cartilage. So it should be relatively easy to cut through. So we're just like snapping through these little vertebrae. And this piece is kind of feeling a little sharp on my finger, and I don't want to get cut by that because I don't know what this thing's got. It could be some kind of fungal infection like histoplasmosis, blastomycosis, something along those lines. So we pull this back now. Now we are sliding through the chest, and the heart and the lungs are suspended by some connective tissue, which we're going to let that go. So, lungs don't look good. This is the heart. This thing right here. Yeah, there you go. And normally, the heart and the tongue with the dead animal are the first things you want to go for. They're kind of the prized meats. Actually, they taste really good. So we're cutting back. I'm going to go ahead and cut that there. So I'm cutting through the trachea, the esophagus, all the major vessels in the body that run from the head to the rest of the critter. And the flies are helping me, obviously, because they're everywhere. Okay, so here we go. So we have kind of freed up the ribs, all that. This is heart and lungs. These do not look normal. That is not normal. This liver, not normal. Gallbladder is like very distended and very pale. Intestines, yeah, they're bloated because this thing's been sitting for 2 days. This is the omentum, which is like a big sheet that kind of covers the intestines. This actually, in a normal animal, you could refine down to, come on out, come on out. You could actually refine all this fat down into tallow so that you could actually eat that. This part, the small intestines, we could actually split those open. It would not be a pleasant thing right at this point. Stand back just a little bit. It would not be a pleasant thing at this point, but you could actually use that for cordage or some type of, you can make a bowstring out of it. I could make a bowstring out of it anyway. It would smell really, really bad for a little bit, but we could all do that. So none of this stuff is usable in this animal. I would not even think about eating that. But, so we got the front legs off, we got the guts out. So what are we going for now? I would certainly go for back straps. They've got big muscles that run all the way up and back. Excuse me. Oh, my belt's really bad. So we're gonna go right next to the rib cage. Going through a lot of sinew here, which could also be used for cordage to make a bowstring, that kind of thing. This goes pretty deep. We're going to cut that back about there. And the flies are coming in. They're smelling low. I was hoping they would stay with the gut pile rather than what we're doing. So let's pull that back. Crank that over a little bit. This tail ain't doing us no good right now. It was supposed to be part of the skinning process, but it broke. So we're just gonna like take these back straps. Normally with an animal like this, you would just like boil the whole thing. I don't know that there's going to be that opportunity to do that in this challenge, but look at this. I'm going to take this back strap. I'm just peeling next to the bone and pulling that back. So we're just going to pull that away. Let's cut it over this way. Probably get a little longer piece. So there's a good couple of ounces of backstrap, which would be really tender, juicy stuff. So I'm going to throw that in the pile too. That's what we would have cooked if we had him. Do the same thing over here. We're going to cut through right above the hip, right above the pelvis, all the way through. And this is the same piece of flint that I've used for a good portion of this process. So I'm going to go right next to the spinal cord. The dorsal spinous process, you stay just to the side of it. You can really cut deep and down. Watch this. Yep. I say watch this. If I can, we got a little piece there that's hanging on. Okay, so I'm going to grab this piece and I'm just going to split that down to the spinal cord. There's they're called lateral vertebral processes, but basically it's the kind of the side of the T-bone. Oh, come back to me. Let's go all the way down. I'm trying to peel that back as I hold on to this. This actually is sinew, which you actually could use for cordage. You gotta let that dry and then soap it up again. There you go. See how that just slides right next to the spine? That's what we want. Let's just cut that away from the inside. Now I've got this big piece. And a lot of it's about pressure against yourself. You gotta pull the animal. You gotta feel the way the muscle wants to like go and lay. So that would be called a back strap. A lot of good meat in there. The white stuff, I could actually cut that out and use that for cordage. Goes in the pile. Now, the rest of this, we can cut the legs off. We can break out the ribs. There's not a lot of rib meat on these guys, so it wouldn't be a lot to eat. But you can also take out these, which are on the inside, and these are like super tender. This is like the inner loin. This is also attached to the spinal column. I'm sure this looks like some murder movie, but these are really nice little tender pieces of meat that and again, we're going to like slide right down the spinal column, cut across, and we're going to go right with it. So we're going to like slice that all out of there. This is like one of the loin cuts that you would get in beef, but this is from a possum. So it's going to be shaped completely differently just because possums and cows don't walk exactly the same way. So that's like the inner loin. Really yummy. So at this point we've cut off probably 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of meat that will keep you alive for a while. So now that we've like done that, let's go ahead and get off, because most of this up here, we've taken off the front legs. You're not going to get a lot of nutrition from the stuff up here unless you were able to like boil the whole thing. So let's just go ahead and take off like this back part. These are like the haunches. So let's just go ahead and get rid of those. This will come a back leg. We're gonna actually let this thing flop to one side or another. Cut right through that joint on the outside of the pelvis. These are the biceps, quadriceps. We're cutting right through all that really big meat. When we get down here, we're going to cut around this joint, and this is where the hip joins the sacrum, or not hip, sacrum, joins the pelvis. Look at that. See, got this white glistening piece, that's the head of the femur. These guys are shaped a little bit differently than a dog or a cow, but you got this round ligament that holds the femur in place, which I cut right through. And then we're going to try to take most of this stuff that's off the back. This is the butt. This is like their booty muscles. We're going to like slide along the pelvis. Look at that. Slide along the pelvis, cut through those ligaments that attach the hip if I go a little further, you'll see that joint on this side. I'm just trying to like save as much of the meat. They don't have as big of booty muscles as we do because they walk on all fours, but it's meat. So we're going to cut through that. This is a big chunk of meat on these back legs. I probably would not try to smoke all this stuff at the same time. I would not do, I mean, a front leg, you could probably smoke the whole thing. Could probably smoke the whole leg. With the back leg, it's so thick, even on this creature. Are you going to get it all smoked? Are you going to get it all preserved? Just my own paranoia says no. So here's a back leg. And we can cut that on down even into smaller pieces, which is exactly what I would do. I would pull these muscles apart, make that really flat, and then skewer those and smoke it. If you really spread this thing apart, you probably could do the whole leg together. Here, let's look at that. So if you really pulled all that apart, put a piece of stick through that to like pull this muscle apart, you probably could like cure the whole thing together. Like when I'm smoking meat, I like to make sure that there's a lot of surface area in order to smoke the meat, because the whole process with that is to be able to make sure that you've got it completely smoked. So let's cut through this one, and then we'll go to the smoking process. Let's find that hip. Let's go through that gluteus muscle, which, like I said, is not very big in these guys. There's that hip joint. That's what we're looking for. See a little glistening joint right there? That lets us know that we're really close onto that joint, because we've already popped it loose. It's just a matter of letting the muscles and the tendons let go. There it is. See it? That's like the ball of the ball and socket. So we're gonna like cut right through here. And I'm gonna cut right through here. So with this animal, the rest of it I would put in a pot if I had one and boil it up and make some kind of like raccoon stew. These pieces I would open up further, spread them apart, fillet them out, and then smoke them. So this is raccoon roadkill skinning techniques #1. Thank you.